Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I want to bring a little bit of a conclusion to the kerfuffle that has erupted over the Vektor SP1 pistols sold by Atlantic Firearms. So I posted a PSA about the fact that a bunch of them, including this one, have broken locking blocks and are potentially, well, are in fact unsafe to shoot. I naively posted this thinking like, oh, it's, people who have one, you ought to check it. It's an easy fix. It's not a big deal. The gun is a fantastic purchase. These were sold super cheap. They were like just barely over $400 for a gun that is normally 5 times that much. And they were cheap because they were completely beat to crap. These came out of, I can only imagine, some third world police agency or something. Anyway, Atlantic has gotten deluged by angry people. So first off, it's a little disheartening to see some people becoming so vitriolic about something that they're not directly involved in. How do I know they're not directly involved? Well, Atlantic's explanation for why they didn't post anything in public about this issue is, in fact, a perfectly valid one. It turns out they only had 10 of these to sell, and 5 of them went to one guy, and the other 5 went to 3, 4, 5, a handful of other customers. I think a couple of people bought 2 of them. And once Atlantic found out that there was a problem, they did in fact talk to every single individual purchaser from them. So from their perspective, there was no need to post anything in public because they literally contacted every single buyer, which is what one would want them to do and what we would expect them to do. And it is in fact what they did. So that is a misunderstanding on my part, thinking that there were going to be a lot of other people out there. Now, in fact, there might be, because Atlantic was not the actual importer of these pistols. They were just one of the resellers. They were imported, this is marked on the bottom of the gun, by IArms, LLC, who interestingly also imported the recent batch of HK-P9S pistols that are similarly utterly beat to crap. These are also import marked by IArms LLC. So Atlantic didn't buy all of the Vektor SP1s that were available, but they don't know how many there were in total. I have not talked to anybody at IArms, and frankly, at this point, I'm not really looking to do so. But there will be probably some other SP1s that are going to turn up on the market through other resellers, some of whom may assume that the guns are in good working order if that's what they're told by IArms or by someone else. So my PSA remains in fact completely valid, and I'm going to leave it up, the version that doesn't have Atlantic's name in it, because they don't need to be dragged through the mud anymore for something that they didn't really actually do wrong. It would have been nice if they inspected the guns first, but as a general rule, resellers don't do that with surplus, especially if they don't have any reason to believe that there are problems. So Atlantic did the proper follow-up on the guns. Other people may not, though. So if you purchased one of these and you didn't talk to Atlantic, or you didn't buy it through Atlantic, check your locking block. Make sure that it's intact. And frankly, even if it is intact, you might well consider replacing it anyway. That is a wear part on Beretta 92s and their copies. Which brings me to a second point that I want to address. I saw a lot of, well, maybe not a lot. I saw a substantial number of people in the comments saying things like, well, that's what you get when you buy a cheap, crappy knockoff of a product, is something that's going to break. The reality of the fact is Vektor SP1s are fantastic pistols. They're really good. They are not subpar. A lot of people compare them to Vektor CP1 pistols, which did in fact also have a recall from the manufacturer to address a drop safety issue. But that is not something that was involved. That had nothing really to do with SP1 pistols, which are a modified copy of the Beretta 92. Even on factory, original, authentic Italian Beretta pistols, Beretta 92s, the locking block is a wear item. This became a big scandal with the US military use of the 92. So that is why I jumped on this one, which, by the way, I did not get from Atlantic. That's why they didn't call me directly, is I bought this one secondhand from someone else who got it, found that the locking block was broken, and just wanted to get rid of the thing. I don't know who they bought it from, so I have no idea. I cannot backtrace this gun. At any rate, that's why the reason that I jumped on this, and why nobody who bought them from Atlantic wanted to return it for a refund, is they're really good guns and they were really cheap, these particular ones. And for someone like me who is interested in having a shooter, once I replace the locking block, I don't mind the fact that it's got all this wear finish on it. So that is, I think, I know that is the last that I want to deal with this controversy that I have somewhat unintentionally created, it seems. I hope you guys will cut Atlantic some slack. They did, well, perhaps we would have liked them to do a little more diligence on inspection beforehand. That's not really standard practice in the industry. And once they found out about the problem, they did everything that they should have. So they did right, and it was our misunderstanding that there were way more guns out there than there really were. Anyway, I think that's all I got. So it's evening. I'm going to go relax for the evening, and I look forward to when my new locking block arrives. It's on order, and I'm just waiting to get it so that I can take this guy out and do some shooting with it. Stick around. We'll have that video once I'm able to do it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your understanding.